The whole goal of private AI is to become the privacy layer for software. And the way we do that is by taking apart what privacy means into first principles, starting with you need to be able to understand what data you're collecting. You need to be able to remove the information that you don't need, specifically when it comes to personally identifiable information. So we have the best system in the world to allow you to identify and remove personally identifiable information across 52 different languages in text, audio, images, documents, and if it's anywhere in your software pipeline.
So the AI boom is real. Everybody's talking about it. Do you think that we discussed the privacy questions enough, not enough, or maybe even too much?
It's getting there. I don't think privacy is talked about enough. However, I think there's a very big distinction between how often privacy is talked about in Europe versus in Canada and the United States. And we are seeing that increase in discussion about privacy in Canada and the United States as a result of the concerns that AI bring.
Another hot topic is regulating AI. How do we make sure that we implement AI in a way that makes sure we succeed in a responsible way?
So here's the thing. A lot of the regulations around tech, in particular, if you think about the GDPR, for example, they are going to be aspirational because a lot of the technologies that we need do not exist yet to allow us to comply with those legislations. And aspiration is great. That is when the law is ahead of the technology. However, in that aspiration, we also need a little bit more clarity. So the GDPR, for example, doesn't make it too clear when data counts as anonymous. It often makes developers have to guess what exactly the law means. And so we're being asked to implement things that, even lawyers can't really agree on, to quote somebody from the IAPP who was giving a talk there. The way that we can succeed with regulation is really being clear about what definitions of different concepts are.
And another thing that is a really big headache for many organizations are the increasing cyber threats. So looking at that, how can we implement AI without making sure that we open the doors to potential threats even more?
Really understand the information that you're using and where you're sending it and what they're doing at that end point with that information. And one thing is that people don't necessarily realize that AI models might memorize the information that it's being trained on, quote unquote memorize. And so what happens is if you train an AI model with corporate information or with personally identifiable information, people who shouldn't have access to that data might end up getting access to that data. It might be spewed out in production. So you need to be able to, at training, at fine-tuning, identify the information you don't want the people who are going to be using your models viewing.
And last but not least, if you could make a prediction, an AI prediction, what will happen in 3 years?
So here's the thing. When it comes from a CIO and CISO perspective, what you really need to know is what's going on within your organization. And 80 to 90% of the data is unstructured data. It's really, really difficult to protect what you don't understand, to protect what you don't know the location of. And so what AI is allowing companies to do is being able to unlock that data for useful use cases. But now CISOs also have the ability to have a better understanding of how to deal with the cybersecurity of that information. And also AI is going to be super helpful when it comes to cybersecurity for threat prevention as well in general, not just on the data understanding side.